Coming up tonight on YCN News, municipalities across New Hampshire take action to keep synthetic marijuana, known as spice, from being sold in shops and on the street. Solarize Hanover prepares for a meeting to discuss home heating with solar energy. And the New Hampshire Fish and Game Department offer another class in bow hunting. For more news, weather, and sports, it's time for YCN, your local view.
Now, your daily digest of the Dartmouth Lake Sunapee region, southern Vermont, and Windsor County. News, sports, weather, and all that is happening in our area. The news on YCN, your local view.
Good evening and welcome to this Wednesday edition of YCN News. I'm Rose Spillman. Memory of the lives of Claremont men who gave their lives in the Civil War will endure. With yesterday being Veterans Day, it was only fitting to mark the toll taken on Claremont 150 years ago. It took several years of fundraising, and in 1869, the statue honoring the lives of 73 Claremont men who died in Civil War battles was erected on the then town green. It cost about $5,500 to commission the bronze statue that stands in Broad Street Park, about $600,000 in today's currency. Boston sculptor Martin Milmore created the sculpture of the Civil War soldier. Leading the charge to illuminate the statue yesterday night was Ward 2 City Councilor Charlene Lovett. Lovett spoke of the battles Claremont soldiers endured, all-important Civil War campaigns, including Antietam and the First Battle of Bull Run. Yesterday's evening lighting began with President Abe Lincoln, portrayed by resident Steve Wood, reading aloud from a letter. Later, Union soldier Charles Putnam recalled his experiences on the war fields, Putnam being played by Lovett's husband, Bob. The solemn playing of taps followed with the statue's lighting. A recount today in Concord will determine who wins the District 4 House seat from Claremont. Democrat Larry Converse won that seat over Republican George Cocavero last Tuesday by 7 votes, 699 to 692. Meanwhile, other recounts also are scheduled today in races in New Hampshire and Vermont. Not all words or expressions mean what people first think. Take the word spice. We're not talking about cooking. Spice also is the name of synthetic marijuana. Smacked is another term. Municipalities across New Hampshire are taking action to keep spice from being sold in shops and on the street. The latest is Laconia. In that Lakes Region city, the City Council passed an ordinance banning the possession or sale of spice. Claremont has not done so, yet Police Chief Alex Scott tells YCN News that legislative efforts are underway at the state level to try and address this issue. Local ordinances are being passed, Scott says, citing Keene, Tilton, Franklin, and Belmont as taking similar action. It remains to be seen how many more cities and towns act on a local level ordinance. Overdoses from use of synthetic cannabis in Concord and Manchester this summer led to this measure. Also in New Hampshire news, the state could have a new member on its Public Utilities Commission, and if approved by the Executive Council, 2 members of a panel that reviews energy projects. Governor Maggie Hassan says she is placing the name of Martin Honigberg before the State Executive Council. Honigberg lives in Concord. If appointed by the Executive Council, he would be the PUC's chairman. Patricia Weathersby of Rye and Roger Hawk, also of Concord, could be appointed to the Site Evaluation Committee. Interest in heating a home with solar energy is on the upswing. Hanover residents and business owners may want to attend the first of 3 meetings to learn more. Tomorrow's meeting will be held from 5:30 to 6:30 p.m. at the R.W. Black Community Center. The address is 48 Lebanon Street in Hanover. Solarize Hanover is a tandem project with Vital Communities, an Upper Valley nonprofit group hosting solar energy information sessions. Energy Emporium staff will be on hand to ask questions tomorrow night. 2 other meetings will be held in case you can't make Thursday's session, from 7 to 8 p.m. Wednesday, December 10th, and from 10 to 11 a.m. Saturday, January 10th. All meetings are at the R.W. Black Center. When YCN News returns, the New Hampshire Fish and Game Department offers another class in bow hunting, and the new Abbott Library building in Sunapee prepares for its grand opening.
The YCN News continues in a moment.
Welcome back to YCN News. I'm Rose Spillman. Hunting season is upon us. Due to popular demand, another class in bow hunting will be offered by the New Hampshire Fish and Game. This is the last time this year for this class, which will be held over 2 days in Weir. Attendance at both days is required. The dates are Friday, December 12th from 6 to 9 p.m. and Saturday, December 13th from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Classes will be held at the Goffstown Fish and Game Association at 100 Melvin Valley Road in Weir. To learn more about how to register, go to wildlife.state.nh.us or call 603-271-3421. This Saturday is the grand opening of the new library in Sunapee. The event to mark the new Abbott Library building begins at 10 a.m. Festivities last throughout the morning, ending at 1 p.m. The building is not far from its original location along routes 11 and 103. When YCN News returns, we'll hear from Kearsarge Chronicle's Sean Bowman, who met with Graham Gifford from the Telephone Museum.
The YCN News continues in a moment.
Welcome back to YCN News. I'm Rose Spillman. Now Matt McDonald will have a look at our weather for the next few days and then move on to sports.
Thanks, Rose. Tonight we'll have mostly clear skies with lows in the 30s and winds around 5 miles per hour. Tomorrow we'll have a high of 44 degrees with partly sunny skies and calm winds. Tomorrow night will be mostly cloudy with a low of 29 degrees. Friday we'll have winds between 5 and 10 miles per hour with highs in the 30s and mostly sunny skies. Friday night will be mostly cloudy with lows around 22 degrees. You can see here that there are scattered rain and snowstorms in the west. The worst of these storms are expected to miss us. Now let's see what's coming up on our community calendar. Tomorrow night in Vermont, Hartford High School will be showing its performance of Crazy for You at 7 p.m. In Bellows Falls, the Emmanuel Episcopal Church is holding a concert with Scott Sanchez at 7:30 p.m. Remember, you can submit local events from your community by sending them to news@ycnnow.com. Let's turn to Manchester Monarchs news. We have the results from yesterday's game against Portland. What a game as the Monarchs achieve a 4-0 victory over their opponent. The game saw great goals by Sean Backman, Justin Auger, Colin Miller, and Jordan Wheel. 2 fights broke out, one after the other during the game. The first fight ended in a draw, but the second fight ended with a player falling on the ice. This win increases their season record to 7 wins and 4 losses. The Monarchs are currently in 3rd place in the Atlantic Division, tied with the Pirates. The Monarchs will travel to Worcester, Massachusetts on Friday for a game starting at 7:30 p.m.
Thanks, Matt. When YCN News continues, we'll join Capital Connections' John O'Connor.
The YCN News continues in a moment.